Hi and welcome to Yoga Naraska. My name is Catherine. I am a yoga teacher and a person who has suffered from premenstrual dysphoric disorder, or PMDD, for about the last 15 years. If you're not familiar with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, you can check out my video here that describes the 11 signs and symptoms of PMDD, and I have lots of other PMDD resources here on my channel. I invite you to subscribe to my channel if you are interested in learning more about PMDD and the intersection of yoga and mental health. I also have a podcast called Yoga for Mental Health that discusses a lot of the same topics, and you can join me on social media under @YogaNaraska, so we can connect there and have some more conversations about these important topics. So you're probably here because you have PMDD. My condolences. I know what it's like, obviously, and it's not a very fun thing to live with. But because you have PMDD, I also know that you are an extremely resilient person. And although it's really hard sometimes, you do care for yourself and love yourself enough to take action to feel better even when times are hard. Personally, for me, yoga has been a great way to manage my physical and mental health, especially through all these ups and downs of having PMDD. Not only the physical practice of movement, but also the philosophy of yoga and, the mental health benefits of practicing regularly. I don't think yoga is going to cure your PMDD, but I think it's a really valuable tool in staying well in your PMDD journey and to loving yourself a little bit more, even though it can be hard. So my gift to you is this series of mini yoga classes. They're 20 to 30 minutes long, and I've tailored them for each phase of your menstrual cycle and the sort of different needs that you're going to have throughout your menstrual cycle. They're geared for all ages and abilities, so all you really need is your yoga mat and maybe some props, but I'll give you some direction on other things that you can use in place of props if you don't have them. And I just wanted to remind you that if anything doesn't feel good, please don't do it. I don't want you to hurt yourself or harm yourself. Just make sure that you are listening to your body. That's what yoga is all about, is connecting in with the mind and body. So if something doesn't feel right, feel free to take a different pose or come down to child's pose or do whatever you need to do to feel most comfortable. You can find a link to the playlist below down there, and make sure that you go over there and get that set up so you can have some nice music for your practice. You can open it in a separate window and just play this video and your music at the same time. So that's all I have to say for now. I hope you enjoy your practice, and I'll see you again at the end of this video. Hello and welcome to the ovulatory phase of our yoga for the PMDD cycle. This phase isn't technically a whole week long, but I just figured I would include it anyway because it is a phase of the menstrual cycle. This is the phase where ovulation is happening. For some people, they find that they do have some negative symptoms, but other people find that they have a lot of energy, a lot of social ability, and starting to feel a little sensual. So I figured we would capitalize on that in this class. I have a little sensual playlist for you, and we'll be doing lots of flowing and energetic sensual movements in this class. So I hope you enjoy and you get some yummy feelings out of it. So the playlist is in the description or in the email below. You can head on over there to find the playlist. Hit pause on this video if you need to navigate over there. And then when you come back, we'll hit play on the playlist together and get our practice started. Okay, so we will hit play at the same time in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so we'll hit play at the same time in 3, 2, and 1. So I'll talk for a moment, make sure you can hear me. Either have your music on a separate device or in a separate app window, and you can change the volume independently. So make sure you can hear the music and me. Okay, so we are going to begin our practice today in a kneeling position. So if this bothers your knees, pro tip, you can fold your mat over, creating a sort of double thick layer for your knees if you like, or you might, be sitting on a folded blanket or something like that if that's a bit more comfortable for you. So I'm doing sort of a half kneeling pose. My hips aren't up straight just yet. We'll be getting to that soon. But my hips and my bum are sort of resting on my heels. Okay, let's begin to move with the breath here. So let's inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, down to the sides. So moving with the breath here, that's going to be a big theme of our class. Feel free to let your creativity flow here with your movements if you want to make them more grandiose and graceful, if that's your style, whatever. Have a little fun. Enjoy your natural creative energy at this time of your cycle. Let's do one more breath. Imagine we're bringing energy up with the hands and then drawing it down into the heart. Let's plant the left hand, bring the right hand up and over to the left, spiraling the heart forward towards the ceiling. Take a couple deep breaths here. Opening up through all of the spaces in between the ribs on the right side. Let's drop the right hand down, swinging across the front body, planting right hand. Let's swing the left hand up and across as well. Left hand coming over to right side now, stretching the left side body. Gazing at the ceiling, breathing deeply. And let's flow from side to side now. So bring the left hand up and over to the left again, right hand up and over. Inhale through center. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, left hand up. At your own pace. If you prefer the sort of sweeping motion, that's okay. Whatever works, just flow with your own creative energy today. A few more on each side as we warm up here, warm up the spine. Beautiful. All right, let's come back through center. Let's inhale, both arms up and overhead once more. Let's do a little slight back bend here. Gaze at the thumbs, pressing the heart center forward. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let's bring right hand down to the left knee. Left hand comes behind the body, looking over left shoulder, coming into a twist. If you like, you might bring this right hand up and over. This will prepare us for our next pose. No hints as to what it is, but if you are a regular yogi, you might be able to guess. Or back down to the knee if that's more comfortable, whatever. Just breathing deeply here as we get used to this little spinal twist. Let's inhale back to center. Slight back bend once more. Exhale, left hand to right knee. Look over the right shoulder this time. Right hand comes behind the body. Again, you might bring that left hand up and over. Whatever feels right. Okay, so we're going to flow with the breath. Now let's come back through center. Exhale to twist. Inhale to center. Exhale to twist. So going at your own pace now. Flowing in whichever ways feel right to you. Feeling strong and sensual. One last twist. Inhale, coming through center. We'll meet here. exhale, it's forward fold, rounding through the spine, nose over knees if you can, coming into a deep kneeling forward fold or child's pose. If your head doesn't come to the ground, you might raise one fist on top of the other to provide a little support for the forehead. Or you might rest your chin on your palms, whichever feels right. Just hanging out here for a moment. And inhaling back to center. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to turn sideways, but you can stay where you are. I just want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to bring my hips up for now. And if you have yoga blocks, this might be a little bit easier to use. Camel isn't a pose that you are familiar with. So I'm just going to put my blocks on the outside of either ankle for now. And we're not going to use them just yet. We're going to place the hands on the hips. So your sort of thumbs are in like the little Venus dimples at the back of your back here. Okay, let's inhale. We're going to sort of stick the hips out just a little bit. Begin to gaze upwards, coming into sort of a gentle camel pose here. You might bring the right hand across the body and back down. Left hand and back down. Or you might just be hanging out here. If you like, what you can do is reach back for one block and then bring the hand up and overhead. Holding here if you like, or flowing back and forth, whatever feels right. You can cross along the front body, grabbing the other block, coming back through center. You can go back and forth in this manner, or if you like, you can also bring the blocks to the inside of the feet if that's helpful. You could also use like Kleenex boxes on their side or something if that feels right for you. Oops. Or you might come up onto the tiptoes and actually use the ankle as your sort of reaching point. And if you like, you could do both together. To get out of this pose, just come back up to your hips, untuck the toes, and you're all done. All right, let's get down into table here. So knees are about hip width apart. Hips are stacked directly over knees. Hands are shoulder width apart. Elbows under shoulders, wrists under elbows. Okay, so from here, what I'd like you to try to do is we'll start at we're gonna start the tailbone on the nose. Let's try the tailbone. So we'll lift the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the nose up. Deep breath in, coming into cow. From here, let's exhale, draw the chin down, begin to roll through the spine, drawing navel up, tucking tailbone under. Let's do it in the opposite direction now. We'll start with the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the head. Start at the nose, down to the tailbone this time. Let's do it backwards this time. Let's start with the nose, drop it down, bring it up, drop the spine down, drop the belly, lift the tailbone. So just experiment with flowing here, making little spinal waves. Whatever feels right. Wonderful. Okay. So from here, let's Look down at your hands and notice where the middle fingers are. So you're gonna bend your elbow and drop it right in front of where the middle finger was. And bring the hand out into sort of a Sphinx pose. Same with the other one. Then we're gonna drop the upper chest down towards the mat. Coming into puppy pose. So notice that my hips are in the same place as they were before. In table. You can shake your booty to the music if you like. Okay, from here, let's press back up into our table pose. We're gonna come into down dog, so let's tuck the toes under. But before we get there, let's just lift the knees a little bit and let them hover as we sort of light a bit of fire in the core here. So inhale to lift, draw navel to spine. Hold here, you got this. Exhale, lower, beautiful. Okay, this time we're gonna send the hips skyward, up towards the sky. So inhale, let's lift, straighten the legs out. You don't have to straighten them all the way. We're just sort of aiming for our heels to extend down towards the mat, but they don't have to touch. Gentle bend in the knees. Aiming for a flat back, so sending tailbone up towards the sky. Shoulders away from the ears, pressing through all of our fingertips as well. And just let those sort of hamstrings and quads stretch out as the heels aim towards the floor. You might sort of bend one leg at a time. Stretching here. Maybe moving with the music. Just exploring your down dog today. All right, so from here, let's come up onto our tippy toes and then just roll the upper body forward and through, just like your cat pose, until you are in plank. So you might find that you need to walk your feet back a little bit, just like me, to get into our plank. If this is difficult, you might come down onto the knees and untuck the toes. I think I need to scoot up a little bit. I'm coming off my mat here. Okay, there we go. Okay, take a deep breath in here. Or if you're in high plank, exhale, draw the elbows to the body as we lower back down to the mat. Beautiful. Okay, let's inhale as we press up to cobra. So you can use your arms here to help you lift the upper body. Make sure we're not locking our elbows, breathing deeply. Exhale back down to the mat. Okay, we're gonna push up this time. So you can either leave your knees down on the mat for low plank or lift them for high plank, whatever feels right. So I'll show you low plank this round and we'll do high plank next round. So hands are underneath the shoulders, drawing the elbows in towards the body. Gonna leave my knees on the mat. Gonna inhale as I press my body away from the mat. Lifting the hips as well. And then I will tuck the toes under, lift the hips up, coming back to my downward facing dog. Beautiful. Okay, one more time, coming up onto the tiptoes, rolling the body forward, coming back into my plank. Low plank if you like, whatever feels best. Exhale, coming back down to the mat. Remember to tuck those elbows in. Inhale to plank. Cobra. Exhale back down. Okay, this time we're doing high plank, or I am at least. If you prefer to stay in low plank, totally okay. Hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the elbows in, tuck the toes under. We're gonna push the whole body up this time. Inhale to lift. Coming into our plank. Exhale, hips back into downward facing dog. All right, let's go through one more of these. Your choice of high plank or low plank. All right. Inhale, let's lift the toes up, roll the body forward, coming into high or low plank. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale down to the mat. Inhale back up to your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. You're doing great.
Okay, let's take a quick little break on our wrists here if you're not used to being in these sort of positions. So drop the knees down, send the hips back. Let's give our wrists some love here. So rotating through the wrists, pressing them away from the body, interlacing the fingers, maybe doing sort of one wrist than the other, grabbing the top middle fingers, tops of the middle fingers, pressing the palm away. Beautiful. Okay, we only have a couple more poses on our fronts, so no worries. Let's come back into our table here, or plank if you're feeling extra spicy today. And let's take the right knee up in between the hands. So our toes are sort of coming off the mat here. Right toes are sort of coming off the mat. And we're gonna sneak the left leg back and down. And then we're gonna drop that right hip down towards the mat. So if this feels really uncomfortable, you can place a block or a pillow underneath the bum. Or if not, you can just ease the body down towards the mat. If this feels okay and you like that stretch in the hip, you might walk the hands forward, rolling the upper body down over the left thigh. Again, resting head on fists or on the floor. If this feels good. This is one of my favorite poses. It's nice to stretch our hips, especially if we're anticipating some sexy times, if you know what I'm saying. Having open hips makes sex life much easier, no matter who you're loving. And we carry a lot of tension here if we do a lot of sitting, so it's important to stretch these muscles. When you feel ready, pressing yourself back up to a semi-erect position. Let's tuck the toes under. Send the right knee back. Send the left knee forward up in between the hands. Scoot the right leg back towards the back edge of the mat. And then again, this left buttock starts to sink down towards the mat. The degree of how tight this pose will be is determined by how close your heel is to your groin. So you can experiment with that to make it a little bit easier for you. And again, if you like, you may fold over this left thigh, coming into a nice deep stretch. If it's too much, again, you can place something underneath the bum for a little bit extra support. Just enjoying this nice hip stretch. When you feel ready, coming back up through center. Tucking those back toes under, sending the left knee back, right knee forward. Okay, let's take both hips up, or both knees off to the side, drop the hips down. And we'll take the legs about hip width apart. And from here, we're gonna drop both legs over to the left side. Coming into little window wiper stretches is also really good for the hips. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the other side. Just back and forth. Getting those hips going. And coming back to center. Let's scoot the bum back. My bum tends to scooch forward whenever I do this one. Awesome. Okay, let's come down onto our backs now. Just slowly walking yourself back. Wonderful. Let's take the legs in towards the chest. I like to do this to just ground my back into the support of the earth, as I have a kind of curvy back and it takes a little while for it to relax down onto the mat. Maybe give yourself some ankle circles, some wrist circles. You've worked hard so far in this class. And we're going to come into happy baby. So we'll bring soles of the feet up towards the sky, knees come down. You can either grab outside of the foot, inside of the foot, toes, or if you can't reach, you can use a sweater with the sleeves or a scarf or a yoga strap around the tops of the feet and pull them down towards you. So whatever feels best for you. Just another hip stretch to get all that juicy goodness of our hips stretching. Sorry if that was overly graphic. You could roll around from side to side if this feels nice. Just whatever feels good. Let's take the legs out straight, stretch them out. And bending the knees, bring them back down towards the mat. Wonderful. Let's take the hands out to a T position. Drop them over to the left side. So you can sort of tuck them into the belly if you want. It'll be a bit more of a intense stretch for you if they're tucked in versus if they're out. So experiment with what feels right. Dropping them over to the left side of the body. Again, bringing knees as close to the chest as feels good. And the head is turned opposite direction of the knees. Just relaxing here. When you feel ready, inhaling back to center, dropping the knees over to the right side. Head turns to the opposite way that the knees are pointing. Inhale back to center. Giving your knees one last little hug. Maybe wiggling the toes, rolling the ankles. And then sending the legs out long for our final Savasana. Moving whatever way you need to feel comfortable. Relishing in all this juicy goodness that you have created in your body. Knowing that maybe for the next few weeks, things may be a little bit more difficult, knowing your cycle. So while you have all this energy, I'm going to say feel good energy, but I know some of you have some ovulatory symptoms. So if you can in this phase, try to do something nice for your future self. Whether that is grocery shopping now, so you have healthy foods or ready to eat foods in. You could cook up a bunch of stuff for your luteal phase and your menstrual phase. Or scheduling any appointments till your next cycle if you can. Just maybe have a little think about how you can be nicer to the part of you that struggles. Instead of maybe beating yourself up so much, maybe you can be a little bit more compassionate. Give yourself a hand. This is a good time to talk about self-love. So those are acts of self-love, right? But also don't be afraid to give yourself a little self-love, if you know what I'm saying, in this ovulatory phase. Give your libido a boost and Also helps to relax your muscles, give your brain a little boost of endorphins, dopamine, serotonin. Helps with blood flow and cramping. Do what you gotta do, is all I'm saying. So just basking in some silence for the next few minutes. Enjoying how it feels to be in your body today. When you feel ready, rolling over onto one side. Taking a moment here to rest. And when you feel ready, pressing yourself up to a seated position. Bringing hands to heart center. Bowing to yourself for taking this time for you to connect in with your mind and body. Thank you for taking this time to practice with me. The light in me sees and honors the light within you. Until next time. Hi, me again. I'm hoping not to interrupt your Savasana. I hope you are enjoying your post-practice bliss. But I just wanted to come on and say hello and thank you again so much for spending this time with me and taking the time for yourself. I would love to hear your thoughts on how this practice went. Did you find it challenging? Did you find it easy? Did you find it enjoyable? I would love to hear your feedback so I can integrate that for future yoga videos. Hit the like button if you enjoyed and share with your PMDD friends. If you subscribe to my channel as well, you'll also get updates of more yoga videos and more videos on PMDD, mental health, all that sort of goodness. And if you'd like some extra freebies, more resources, yoga, etc., and a nice community of PMDD yogis, you can join my mailing list below. The link is down there too. And you can join us. There'll be a weekly email every Friday that will have all of the sort of content that I've put out throughout the week and also something free just for my email subscribers. So that's usually a yoga class or some sort of resource, especially made with love just for my subscribers. I also have a Facebook group that you can join if you'd like to connect with other PMDD yogis as well. That's in the link down there. So if you see the value in practicing yoga for your PMDD, I would love to have you in my upcoming online course. It's called the Dysphoric Yogi. It's a 6-week online course that is full of full-length yoga classes, meditations, lectures on what's going on in your PMDD cycle and how PMDD relates to the world around you. We'll also meet live once a week to discuss sort of our experiences and have a little bit of peer support engagement. And all of this will be designed with PMDD in mind. There'll be journaling exercises, workbooks, an exclusive Facebook group, and tons of value-packed free content that I will also throw in there just for you. My goal is to empower you to speak up for yourself and make your needs known so you can get those needs met with your friends, your family, your workplace, and your medical team, because PMDD is really hard to live with and you deserve all the support that you can get. So I would love to offer you my support in your journey. So please check out the Dysphoric Yogi. If you join my mailing list that we discussed earlier, you'll be the first one to know about the release date for my course. So I would love to see you there. Don't forget to subscribe so you have access to the other 3 Yoga for Your PMDD cycle classes and you can save them for your next cycle. Again, thanks so much for being here with me. I appreciate it so much and I would love to hear from you. So let me know in the comments what you thought and let's connect.